If you bought the Sand token just a couple months ago, you would have over 10x your money at the peak and still sitting at a comfortable 7 times your money at the time of this filming. And this also happened to other projects like Decentraland's Mana token, Illuvium's ILV, and UFO Gaming's UFO token. But what do all of these projects have in common? The metaverse. Around the same time, big names made some major moves into the space, like Facebook rebranding to Meta, solidifying their stance on metaverse being the next frontier. Microsoft announced that they'd be getting into the metaverse with Microsoft Teams, Xbox, gaming, and more recently, Jack Dorsey, who's extremely bullish in the crypto space, stepped down from Twitter and putting all of Square, Cash App, Tidal, and a few other crypto projects under the new company Block, probably for blockchain. With so much innovation and so many big companies getting into it, the metaverse in one form or another is coming. Heck, it could already be here with the amount of time we spend in the digital world. Though a quick note that none of this is financial advice, it's only for entertainment and educational purposes only. And with that said, let's get into how you can be involved and start capitalizing on the metaverse. And of course, the easiest and safest way to get into this space is to invest in these Web 2 style companies that are pouring tens of thousands of employees as well as millions upon millions of dollars into this space. There's no special setup. All these companies are regulated as they're public companies, and you'll probably make a healthy return on these companies because they're also usually the most innovative ones anyways. On the downside, these investments are probably not going to make you rich, especially not in the short term. Big companies take time to change, and they're not going to see the effects of these investments on their bottom line till years later. So you're not going to like 5 times your money in the next year. But what could have potential to do 5 times, 10 times, even 100 times your investment is investing in the Web3 metaverse movement, which includes buying virtual land, items, tokens, and more. Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying content like this, remember to tap that like button to help support the channel because it really means a lot. Thank you. So when I say virtual items, I do mean virtual items that only live in the digital world. As an example, the OpenSea marketplace has done over $10 billion of transactions in digital items or NFTs being traded on the platform. But specific to the metaverse, what gives these virtual land plots value? Well, of course, the usual scarcity and betting on the future potential of the project does come into play. But it's also because by owning land, you're having a play in the economy. Take Sandbox, for example, one of the leading metaverse plays. Sandbox is a crypto project based on the Ethereum network that was started back in 2012, but later bought by Animoca Brands to revamp it into an actual blockchain 3D open world game. This open world game is divided into 166,464 plots of land, and by owning the land, people are free to make any kind of experience they want, from hosting an art gallery to building out experiences and games that can later be monetized, to hosting live events, gatherings, and just hanging out. And just like real physical land, you could rent out land for others to use as well. And then there's also scarcity as well as different pieces of land being worth different values depending on what's on it or where it's near. A basic piece of land that isn't anything that special could be had for around a few ETH. But if you're a piece of land besides Snoop Dogg and his Snoopverse area, it's worth much more, to the tune of $500,000 that was sold just a week ago. The Sandbox is hardly the only metaverse or open world project play out there. The other ones include projects like Decentraland, who's also had famous partnerships like with Paris Hilton, Blocktopia with its multi-story skyscraper people can occupy, or Solus with their VR-ready metaverse. Then who could forget Axie Infinity, the play-to-earn game that really put play-to-earn and crypto gaming on the map. Axie is also coming up with their own land sales with pieces of land in the Lunacia metaverse, where you could do things like renting it out, develop, hosting shops, gaining power-ups, and so much more. So other than buying virtual land pieces, you could be buying virtual items as well. Now these could range from your really basic JPEGs that have no utility to more complex ones like having deep storylines and building into a metaverse future like the cybercons. If you're a creator, you could make items for the metaverse, market them, and sell them for a profit, just like working an actual job. Or you could just flex by buying a digital yacht in the Sandbox metaverse for over 650,000 US dollars. One project that I bought items in is D-Race, which is a horse racing game that allows you to race your horses for profit, own stadiums that other people can race on and then collect fees, or even have multiple horses and breed them with each other and either racing those horses or selling them for a profit. Then there's Axie Infinity that you can have Axies and play and battle them for some income. In some countries, this income could well surpass working a regular job in the physical world, which it did for some period for players in the Philippines. And in case you weren't mind blown yet, there are innovative projects out there like Remark that lets NFTs own other NFTs. For example, a group of people could own a piece of land. Then that land could own an NFT billboard that people can bid to display ads on, where they will pay fees that go to the billboard, go to the land, and then get redistributed to all the owners of that plot of land. As that land starts generating income, then that piece of land with all the stuff on it becomes more valuable as well. Yeah, I know, talk about some confusion. But if you are interested in the metaverse, which you probably are if you're still watching to this point, but don't have the time to dig into all the details of every single project, how else could you invest in it? Well, just like you could buy a stock in a company, you could buy the tokens for projects as well. But they also come with additional benefits like getting airdrops, like free items, other NFTs, or perks like participating in voting and governance of where that project goes. There are the open metaverse projects like we talked about with Sandbox and the Sand token, Decentralized and the Mana token, or Blocktopia with the Block token, or investing guilds like Yield Guild Games or Good Guild Games. What these guilds do is that they not only invest in upcoming projects, but they allow a wider user base to play these games. For example, maybe you don't have the capital to buy an initial set of Axies to start playing the game. Well, you can approach these guilds, apply, and rent Axies from them, play the game in return for a portion of your profit back to the guild. So it's like a win-win situation. You also have your big game companies like Gala Games or Vulcan Forge that are basically big game studios that are building a suite of different games that all revolve around their main token and ecosystem. And of course, you can invest in the games themselves, like D-Race that we talked about, which is the horse racing game, or Alluvium and ILV that's a top favorite due to their AAA level graphics and proven gameplay. From what I've seen so far, it's like combining catching Pokemon with battling with mechanics like the auto chess games, for example, Teamfight Tactics. But one of the best ways to see if a game is successful or not is to play it yourself and get involved. Games have to be fun to begin with, or else they're probably not going to get that far. Now, taking a step back, you could also be looking at the tech that powers these type of different metaverse plays. If the metaverse is where we're heading, then there's got to be a lot of power that backs all of this. Well, for rendering, we have projects like Render, which is a decentralized GPU rendering network that's been used by big names like Netflix and HBO already in the past, or Arweave, which is a decentralized storage platform where you pay once and then your data is stored there forever. With platforms like Steam banning NFT and crypto related games, which I think is a really bad idea, that leaves room for projects like Ultra, which is essentially the Steam of the blockchain gaming world. All this just to name a few really limited ones, because there are so many more out there. And well, if you believe in the metaverse but don't have time to dig into any of this, then you could invest in indexes like MVI that tracks a whole bunch of metaverse plays that include the ones we talked about, like Decentraland and Sandbox. And the MVI token has done pretty well in the last year. Trying to jump ahead of the curve and capitalize on all this movement is going to be hard. 5 years from now, 95% of all these projects are going to fail, and a lot of people are going to lose money. These are all high risk plays with high potential return, but it will take work. Utopia or dystopia, no one knows. But what we can do is get involved, get in there, ask questions, and capitalize wherever we can. And everyone has to start somewhere, which is why you should watch this video that breaks down how to start investing in the whole crypto sphere to begin with. Hope this video helps. Let me know down below if you have any more questions, and I'll see you in the next one.